Chits here, and in this episode of Clean and Chit Chats, we are going to be cleaning all of my dolls that I did in the haul. So this is like the Barbie haul that I did, and look at them, they're all ready to be cleaned. I will link the haul video in the description box below, so let's have a clean and let's have a chat. Let's talk about the Barbie movie. So I did go and see the Barbie movie and I was all hyped up for it, but it wasn't what I expected. So I was expecting like a toy film that wasn't so serious and about real life world issues, but it surprisingly was. Its main focus seemed to be about the patriarchy, and I actually didn't know what that meant at the time of viewing the film, so I googled it and I was gutted that it isn't about horses, not even plastic ponies. I'm gutted. I went to see the film because, well, I'm a toy collector and I love toys, and Barbie is one of the most iconic toys in toy history of all time. And I love the I love the Barbie episode on the TV show program that is called The Toys That Made Us on Netflix, and it is such a good Barbie episode, and it's about where Barbie began, and it's very informative and very interesting, and I highly recommend checking it out. So yeah, I was expecting more of like an escape from reality, like escape from like the miseries of the world, but it kind of included that in the film. And yeah, it's kind of like, what I'm trying to say is that I don't think it was my like personal taste of film. It wasn't my kind of film. I'm more into like fun adventure films like Narnia, like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Alice in Wonderland, and I like Coraline. I like otherworldly films when like people go into like other sort of like worlds to explore. And I'm seeing like a pattern of the kind of films I like. I just like otherworldly kind of films, and that intrigues you, like, and it excites you and stuff, and all of the adventures kind of thing. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be kind of like that because it's like Barbie Land, and I thought I would get more of that from the Barbie world, like humans discovering Barbie Land, and yeah, see what it's all about, what's there to discover, and just exciting things. But there wasn't much of that. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, looking at Barbie World, I did like the physics of it, like when Ken went flying into the air, and like it's kind of like the gravity is different there. I found that really clever and really interesting. I love that detail. I love that they kind of thought about everything like that, with like the gravity, what's the gravity like, and it looked like someone was kind of like was holding Ryan Gosling as a Ken doll and making him fall, sort of thing. So that's the kind of gravity it had in the film. So it was such a neat little detail, and I love that. Another thing is that the film was around about 2 hours long, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did get bored and my attention span just didn't last, and I failed to pay attention like halfway through the film. And maybe I think like cinemas need to do like some sort of they should like include like a break time for long films, maybe, to help with people's attention spans. Some people's attention spans, like, I don't know if I have ADHD. I have no idea. Maybe I do. I don't want to self-diagnose myself, but like I just lost attention kind of thing halfway through the film. But maybe that's because it's not my 100% cup of tea kind of film. But we'll get more into that. And I mean, that being said, like, I remember when I watched part 1 of The Hobbit, and that film, part 1 of The Hobbit, is about 3 hours long, and it kept my attention span. So, but I mean, that was more about like adventure and, you know, kind of like fighting like mythical fantasy creatures. So it was kind of more my taste. So maybe that's why I could watch The Hobbit part 1. Wow. I like that Barbie Land was just, everything was made of plastic. Like, they really nailed Barbie Land, I will say that, with like, they thought about everything, and I like that they did like old-fashioned like film sort of effects to kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but they did like old-fashioned like film tricks and special effects is yes, that's what I'm trying to find, that's what I'm trying to say. I like that they did like old-fashioned sort of things to kind of get the special effects, like when like Barbie was like on a spaceship and stuff, and like when they were on a bike and everything. It's just the behind the scenes of how they made the film, it's just amazing, the amount of work they put in, and it's incredible. I love what they did, and I love how they approached it with how they made it and everything like that. Love it. Perfection. I'm really happy of how detailed they did that film, and the world and the land, everything. Love it. I feel kind of like horrible saying that, like, I don't think it was my kind of film, and it kind of pains me to say it a bit, and I'm kind of scared because I know like so many people love this film and everything, and there's like loads of people who want a second film. I want a second film as well. I want to see what else they can do. I want to see like a film that has more Alan in it. Alan was probably my favourite character in the film. Like, he beat up like a lot of people. Like, go at Alan. He's like a dark horse underdog. Like, but I am a bit like, because like I was so excited and hyped to see this film, and I'm not saying that I hate the film at all or anything. And I'm really happy that there's like loads of meanings in the film and people dissecting it, and e.g. people think Alan is like being queer coded as like non-binary. I could be wrong there, but it's like it's like a little thing I saw people talk about just on the internet, which is kind of like, to me, just because Alan isn't a hyper-masculine kind of guy, it doesn't make him less of a man, you know? Like, yeah. I mean, maybe people think that because Alan didn't really, like, fit in, bless them, and it's nice that people are relating to characters. So I do like that audience, like, actual people, are, like, relating to these characters in the film, and it's Alan, he's just... He's the best character. You gotta love Alan. You gotta love Alan. I do think I definitely need to watch this film again because it is 2 hours long and it's a lot to digest. And I don't know if it is my kind of film. It just seems a bit too like serious for me personally. I like to watch like films to like escape from reality and not make me think about it more. So like, because the film was pretty deep in some things, and I was like, oh man, this is heavy. You know, it was a bit too deep, but yeah. But at the same time, I will say that I am happy that they have made the film that way and took that direction in it. And because it is important topics of like what's going on in the world, and it brings like awareness to things, etc. And it made a lot of people talk about it, which made it great for marketing and publicity. I can't say this word, publicity, as well. And I did also think there was like some, I don't know how to word this, it's some like empty plot lines that they could have like fleshed out a bit more. And also Barbie didn't get a song when it's called the Barbie movie, and I'm like, why didn't she get a song? Like, what? It may not be my kind of film 100%, but I'm happy that they made it that way at the same time. So it's like, I agree on what they did, but I didn't fully like enjoy it. To my personal taste, if that, yes, is that fair to say? It's like, oh, it's not my kind of film, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know, okay. And I remember, this is another thing I want to talk about. So I saw this clip of the actress who plays Gloria in the film in an interview, and she was saying, and I quote, "Growing up is about leaving behind childish things, particularly for women. And not so much for men, get to have their man caves and play with their video games forever, and women, it's like toys away, do chores, grow up." And I want to say I actually disagree with that statement. Eek. Honestly, anyone who is like a teen or an adult will most likely get picked on specifically for still having their toys, and heck, even buying more regardless of their gender identity, I believe. And some people who collect, for example, I'm going to say My Little Pony since that's the main toy I personally collect, and some people who collect My Little Pony actually store their collection in cupboards and boxes because they don't want to be judged for having them. And it's usually some male collectors who do that. So I honestly think it doesn't matter about anyone's gender identity. You may get judged regardless, and it happens. It happens to men, women, girls, boys, non-binary people, anyone. It happens to anyone. I feel like it's mostly based on age than gender, I think, when it comes to toys as a genuine I can't say the word general overlook on everything. People commonly hear, aren't you too old for toys and things, so it's a general thing. I feel like it's mostly to do with age than gender. I understand it may be worse if you're a toy collector and you're collecting toys that isn't your age demographic, for one. And it's also not aimed towards your gender identity or sex assigned at birth for some. That's it. I do try and be inclusive as possible on my channel, so if you didn't know. So that is pretty much all I want to say about the Barbie movie. Hopefully nobody will wring my neck in the comments. Also check out this Mulan doll, in the video. Watch the video now. So she had makeup on, and it's a colour thing. So when you put it under the cold tap, her makeup vanishes, and if you put it back under the hot tap, it comes back and everything. So I didn't know about that doll. So anyway, that is about the end of this video. It's been a wild ride. I did snap a Barbie head while cleaning. I don't know how it snapped. She's old, she's vintage. I got a second hand from a charity shop, and she just snapped. Her neck just snapped. So hopefully I can fix that. I don't think I can, but I'm gonna see if I can. I'll try and save her and everything. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Clean and Chit Chats, and thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to go and check out my Etsy, Faithful Friends Fantasy. The link is in my description box below, and be free to leave a cheeky little like and a friendly little comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure to follow me on all of my social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and all of that jazz. Thank you all so much for watching, making it through this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So thank you so much, and bye!